In this force problem, we are asked to find a total force when four forces are acting on a crate. So it says the crate is pulled to the right with a force of 125 newtons, to the left with a force of 95 newtons, upward with a force of 535 newtons, and downward with a force of 230 newtons. We want to find the net external force in the x direction, the net external force in the y direction, and the overall net external force, which of course includes magnitude and direction. So for the first part, we need to find the net external force, so that is sigma F, in the x direction, so I'll label it the subscript of x. So we have two forces in the x or horizontal direction. We have 125 newtons, and that's to the right, so that's positive. And we have 95 newtons, and that is to the left, so that is negative. Again, it's summation, we find the total, but one of them is negative. So when we add them, we get a positive 30 newtons, which simply means 30 newtons to the right. Next, what we want to do is find the total force in the y direction. So net external force in the y. We have two forces in the y direction. We have 535, which is up, so that's positive. And when a force is down, like the 230, that is a negative. We add those two together, and we get 305 newtons, which is positive, which means 305 newtons upwards. Now for letter C, what we're going to do is very much like the vector addition we did with displacements. We have the total force to the right, and we have the total force up. And we're going to make a right triangle out of that and find the hypotenuse and the angle. So I'm going to go to a new chart here. And we have a total of 30 newtons to the right. And we have a total of 305 newtons up. Draw them somewhat to scale. We want to find the hypotenuse, which is our overall total force, and our angle as well. Well, to find the hypotenuse, if you know two sides, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. So that says that the total force squared, so our hypotenuse squared, is equal to 30 newtons squared plus 305 newtons squared. So we square the sides and add them together, and that's equal to the square of the hypotenuse. We get that our total force overall is 306.5. And units would be newtons. If one side is newtons, they must all be newtons. And then we want to find the angle. Now to find the angle, we're going to use our inverse trig functions. We know the opposite side is 305. The adjacent side is 30. So opposite and adjacent means we'll use tangent. But again, we use inverse tangent if we're finding the angle. So opposite is 305. Adjacent is 30. And if we take the inverse tangent of 305 over 30, we get an angle of 84.4 degrees. It's a large angle, and by our picture, we would expect that a larger angle.